So for these particular shuriken, I wasn't able to find much on them beyond they're just not your typical throwing star. They're kind of like a scaled down version of this. This is a no spin throwing knife I made a few months back. And basically they were just kind of small darts that could be concealed and then thrown, used by samurai. This also, much of the throwing knives, has nothing to do with anime. Again, you can't prove I watched that. Also, you can't prove I don't either. Anyway, not important. Forget I mentioned it. So, my basic plan is to forge them out. This is just half a leaf spring from another build that I just finished, like yesterday. Traditionally, again, there's not really much on them like most shuriken because it seemed to be depending on time and region and who the hell was making them on what they looked like or, what they were made of. But I think mostly they're made of iron. This is spring steel, so of course it's, not iron. But this is able to be hardened and it'll probably be a lot better quality than what they would have even had access to anyway. But also, they used what they had on hand, and this is what I have on hand, so it's what I use. But my basic strategy is I'm going to hammer this down into more of a square piece, and then probably just cut it up into several shuriken from there. I've seen a few that kind of have like little, not really feathers, but I guess that's about the best thing for them. But little things in the back that I think give it drag. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Some of them just seem to be plain spikes. Maybe I'll make a few of both and just see what happens. But for starters, I'm going to hammer them down, cut them up, and then just, I guess, make small spikes. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be simple. But I said that last time, and it never is. Why do I keep saying that? It's never that simple. Now that I have my steel kind of forged into a bar, I'm going to cut it up into smaller pieces, a couple inches long or so that way I can, forge those into spikes. I don't know, they're probably going to be maybe 3 inches or so long. I looked at a lot of the shuriken, and basically you can hold them in your hand, and they'd be about from my palm to my finger, so they're usually not very big. Although I have seen some of them that were, 6 inches long. So I guess you make them as big as you want, and this isn't my actual size, this is just kind of a rough shape. Just so I can cut them up and get a little more accurate of what I'm going to make them. I might make them round, or part of it round, I don't know yet. I figure I'll start forging and see what happens. Okay, so rough forging of 4 of these is done, and I kind of went with basically my square parts was this little centerpiece, and I hammered in on the corners, so that way the spike is offset from those. More of just an aesthetic choice, not really necessary. And then I rounded out the handle a bit. Basically, I'm just going to grind everything smooth to where it's more or less uniform and straight. It's a little off, but not really too bad. And I'm going to take, since I made 4, I'm going to take 2 of them and then put like rope and stuff along the edge back, so that way it has drag, and see if those work better than just plain ones. I've seen ones, including historical ones, that both were found or historically used. So like I said at the beginning, these aren't really a uniform. And I already made one, well, sort of. Just rough ground the shape. I still need to sand it, but I was playing with it. And surprisingly, I almost think these work better than some throwing knives. They don't hit as hard because they're smaller, but with something I can, I could hide this really easily. I could probably, put 20 of these under my skirt and have no one would even know I had them. So, whoops. So I'm gonna go ahead and grind these, then belt sand everything smooth, so that way I can, heat treat them. Basically, I'm just gonna heat treat the tips, so that way it has a hardened tip with a soft back. So that way it's less likely to shatter, but spikes like these will probably still be fine. There we go. Got some bow shuriken, or throwing spikes, whatever you want to call them. They are pretty simple to build. They're a little more challenging to throw than I would have thought, because you kind of got to hold them in kind of a weird way. So you can't really throw them like you would a normal no-spin throwing knife. I thought about putting something on the back of them to put some drag, like you see. You see some have like string stuff there, and that would be pretty easy to do if you want to go ahead and do that. But I decided to just leave them plain spikes so I can hide them easier. And yeah, just a fun little project. And yeah, so I'm gonna go play with these for a while, and hopefully don't lose them, because that's a huge issue with throwing weapons. I've lost several.